to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You do the roll call, Marla?
Mayor Nicholson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Singer.
Here.
Councilmember Durst. Espinoza.
Here.
Martinez.
Here.
Smith. Here. And Wells. Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. We'll start out with the public hearing, an ordinance, second reading, amending Rawlins Municipal Code Title 8, Health and Safety. Anybody that would like to address that? And could you please, for anybody that comes to the podium, please print your name on the sheet for us, sign and print.
I just want to thank the council for working so hard on this Title 8. I know you guys have looked at every wording in that and updated a lot of things in it, and I just want to thank you for holding to your promise and changing it so it's clear and concise, and it's the same rules for all the trash haulers. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Anyone else? Okay. We'll move on down to citizens' participation. This is for public comment. Everybody has 5 minutes to speak. We do have a timer that we're going to start using to try to limit it to the 5 minutes. If a council member wants somebody to go over the 5 minutes, then that council member can put it to a vote to allow them to go further. And then I would ask that everyone please respect the person that is up there speaking, and allow them their time on the floor. And everyone speaking will need to come to the podium and speak in the microphone and sign the register of paper up there. So is there anybody that would like to come up and speak? There you go.
I need to write my name again?
Yes, please.
Evening Sitting Council. I sent an email with my concerns on police trust to all the council members. Everyone answered with the exception of Mr. Sanger and Mr. Espinoza. I want to thank all those that did answer. Most asked for more time to research my questions, and I appreciate the thoughtful responses. But the questions won't be forgotten. Ms. Wells also mentioned programs that involve the police and the public. In addition to the other ideas I have proposed, perhaps another would be at every council meeting, the police would have a moment to present these programs or introduce themselves to the community. When we have meetings at Sinclair, we always have a safety moment. Perhaps you could have a police moment. I also have a concern regarding the trailer with a parked on the street near the curb. It lives in a house with a curb. They received a warning noting registration. They updated the registration immediately, yet the trailer was towed. When they called and asked why, they were told it was too close to the curb. This wasn't even on the warning. Also, the police told them that the city council was coming down on the curb rule. So, council, if your ears were ringing last week, now you know that the police was blaming you for all the citations. How is this just? For months, the police has been giving warnings with no citations or towing. Now, we have a knee-jerk, immature reaction, and everything's towed. I feel this is childish and asinine. Shouldn't the public be warned first that the policy to go from complaint-driven to enforce everything without warning changed? You could have put this in an email or in a letter and sent it out with a water bill. There could have been some way to let the public know that this had changed. Perhaps you can give light on the subject. Please be the council that does justly, loves mercy, and performs humbly. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. there anybody else?
Thank you, Tanya. Good to see you again. All right, City Council, how you all doing tonight? Mr. Martinez, have you summoned up the courage to discuss what I asked you about last time, by any chance? Well, just everybody knows who I am.
Could you,
Don't you? I mean, this is Rawlins. Oh, they haven't watched, they're watching you. Out there in TV land, it's Gene. How you doing? That's S-I-K-O-R-A. I'll forgive the misspelling in the last edition. I want to thank Kelly for being here tonight, too. Freedom of the press is essential to our republic. Yeah, that's an easy one, isn't it, Debari? Yeah. Are you going to speak out tonight about it? About the time that they beat you up? You don't have to. I want to put you on the spot, but maybe you can share it with everybody else. Mr. Durst, how you doing? This war of all against all is just, it blows my mind. Why is our police department attacking our fire department? Good question, isn't it? Oh, well, I haven't gotten the answer to that one yet. But this is, we own this. See this? But it's not really we, the citizens, that own this. It's you guys that own this. You men and women on the city council, you own this. You know what this is. This is a famous photograph taken from a video. It's disturbing, isn't it? Because we all know what this photo, don't we, Mr. Espinoza? How you doing, Willie?
Doing good.
Good to see you again. Mr. Sanger, you own this. This is your police chief. This is your police department. We don't feel like this is our police department because it's out of our control. Mr. Mayor, with all due respect. Mr. Martinez, it's out of control. You yourself have been victimized in the past. Many of us have. We have a city attorney that her job seems to be the main peacekeeper of ethics and morality. That's ridiculous. But here it is. You own it, Ms. Bach. You own this. It'd be nice if we could get some actual documents sometimes when we request them. Redactions and changes of documents are a good idea. That'll catch up with you. Patrick, how you doing, my man? You don't own this because this isn't you. Ms. King? You don't own this because this isn't you. This isn't me here. Ms. Lulu, thank you for speaking out eloquently about it. I'd like to also thank Mr. Joe Garcia, sitting here at the back, and agree with him that I am not going to march down the road to unfreedom. I'm an American. We have a Bill of Rights. And the city of Rawlins is really good at violating that Bill of Rights. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Ms. Bach? She's the first person you should ask for resignation from, by the way. Where is Mr. Palmer tonight? I really wanted to say hello to him and draw this to his attention because these are his boys. These are not my boys. These are not even my men. Men don't act like this. Men do not act like this. Men of honor do not act like this. Talk to James Mattis about it. Anybody heard him on the radio today? General Mattis, honorable retired Marine. Okay, so I'm sorry, I know I'm close to my limit right here, and I will make it brief. Y'all still own this. You own this, and we're not going to quit coming and talking about it. I'm done with just going, oh, well, they're not going to listen to us. I'm just going to give up. Now I'm going to bring some photos. I had a nice photo for you tonight, which is what I wanted to show, actually, to Chief Palmer. Violation of another ordinance, right there, backhoe, 410 10th Street. Who's taking notes? Ms. Bach, take some notes on this one. 410 10th Street, violation of city ordinance, under Section 10. Go look at it. You're not supposed to park your private backhoe on public property. There it sits. It's sat there for months. Want me to bring you the photograph? I will. We can argue it in court then. Guess who will win? It'll be like this all over again. Guess why you guys lost? Guess why we lost? All of us, we all lost. Surrendering freedom for security, Joe. We're going to speak truth to power. Not a good thing. We're going to fight it. We got an election coming up in about 14 months. We're going to fight it. Okay, that's the famous photo. You guys own it. They're your men. My question is the same as it was 2 weeks ago. You had an executive meeting tonight? Good. Everything should be behind closed doors. Have you guys and girls, the owner of this mess, the owners, have you decided to act on what we've asked, what Ms. Lemon has asked, what I've asked, what Mr. Gonzalez has asked? Just go ahead and act on it. You have the power. We are the people. You represent us. The police are our servants. They are not our bullies. They are not our killers. We have rights under our Bill of Rights.
Your time is up, Mr. Sikora.
Thank you.
5 minutes.
Thank you. Voters have weighed in on this before, Mr. Mayor, and you know what I'm speaking of too, and I'll close there. The voters weighed in on it back in the election, and we put Mr. Roybal in the county sheriff's seat, an honorable man. I know him personally. Good guy, too. I'll be talking with him pretty soon about the situation here. Not a threat, just a statement. And we rejected Mr. Frakes because we reject killers in Rawlins.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Joe, come on up.
Yeah, Joe. Speak truth to power.
Sorry, I keep forgetting to sign this sheet. You'll have to excuse me. I get nervous when I'm in public.
So do I still. All right.
We all do, Joe.
Again, I'm here to address Chapter 8 on derelict vehicles and weeds. I tried to visit with Scott today. I hear he's having issues, and condolences, Scott, on all those things. I mean, you're in my prayers, you and your family. I also went and talked to your code enforcement today. We had a discussion, and he is overwhelmed. I know he's got a lot on his plate. I knew it from the beginning. I know you guys want to beautify the city. The weeds, supposedly a safety issue with people's asthma and other health issues. Our family doesn't have that, but we do. Before I knew of this law that's been since the early 80s, we pulled weeds. So it's a morality issue, I feel. You guys are trying to make it a safety issue, but I'm just waiting when the weeds are going to start getting taken care of. I don't know what he's done. I know he's got a big workload on many issues. Same with the derelict vehicles. Again, I have a privacy fence. It's not hurting anybody. I have my gas tank pulled. Engine's rebuilt. I just haven't wired it to start it. It will start if I just got to get a gas tank and show that it runs. I got my wheels in storage, so it's up on blocks. It's under a car cover, but I'm out of ordinance. And it's been that way for a long time. Ever since I was 18, I bought cars. Now, since April of 2018, I found out that I was out of ordinance, breaking the law with my cars. And since then, I've been trying to address the issue through the summertime. I have other things that I need to take care of, personal things, but I try to be here when I can. And I do want to speak to it. I don't want the issue to go away. Just the weeds are still there. I did fold my hand today, and I asked code enforcement that I wanted to show the communist way of turning in your neighbors. So I turned in all of East Miller Street. Yeah, I am not a fan of communism, but I want to show everyone how it works. I hate it. It's sickening. You guys stand here, say the Pledge of Allegiance. To who? Not my freedoms. My freedoms are a threat, and that's why I'm here. I can't, we grew up in school learning all this stuff, indoctrinated, and now we're away from it. I don't know how else to express it. I think you guys understand it, but here I am. I don't get it. The value issue, depreciating on people's houses. If it was really an issue, why aren't these people turning in their neighbors for $750 versus tens of thousands on their property? It's a farce. It's a fake, stupid excuse. These are opinions. I don't know what's next. People looking in my windows telling me I can't. They don't like the arranged furniture and I have to change it. You know, I don't know how else to be more generic about it. I'm asking you guys to relook at these and get rid of them or enforce them. Our code enforcement needs way more help if you're going to do it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Anybody else like to come up and speak? Okay. I have something to say. I'd just like to add, Tanya, that on that same day, I got spoken to and I had to move my trailer as well. So we're not above what the current ordinance stands for.
I just had a problem with it not, he wasn't warned of that. He was, the label that they put on there was for registration. It said nothing about moving it from the curb. But yeah, that's why it was taken away. So I didn't know if that was a problem for other people or not, but for this particular person.
Thank you, Tanya. Anybody else like to speak? Okay. We'll move on down to the approval of the minutes of August 20th. Councilman Espinoza?
Mayor Nicholson, I'd like to approve the minutes of August 20th, 2019, regular meeting.
You have a second? Councilman Durst? We have a first and a second. Any questions in regards to the approval of the minutes? If not, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Smith abstaining.
Thank you. We have nothing under correspondence and reports. We'll move on down to the approval of the agenda for tonight. Councilman Martinez?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Can we have a specific addition identifying why you're going into executive session?
Yes. Do we need to just add that we're going into executive session or the definition?
You just need to state pursuant to Wyoming statute and the sections that you're going into.
I would like to add that this council will be going into executive session for the purpose of to consider appointments, employment, right to practice or dismissal of public officer, professional person or employee, or to hear complaints or charges brought against an employee, professional person or officer unless the employee, professional person or officer requests a public hearing. The governing body may exclude from any public or private hearing during the examination of the witness, any or all other witnesses in the session. The governing body may deliberate on its decision of executive session to consider and receive any information classified as confidential by law.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Any questions in regards to that? If not, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Thank you, Marla. Now we'll move on down to unfinished business. An ordinance, second reading, amending Rawlins Municipal Code, Title 8, Health and Safety. Is there anything you'd like to add, Danielle, for this?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm good. I guess I actually do have one question for you since you called me out. With the the dogs in the cemetery, which I know is different than the trash part of that, is that specifically for services or is that at any time?
Anytime.
Okay.
Go ahead, Councilman Smith.
I would move to approve on second reading and waive the reading of ordinance amending Rawlins Municipal Code Title 8, Health and Safety.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second.
And then I'd like to just make a comment.
Okay.
As many of you know, we've discussed this downstairs in a workshop. And so if we pass this on second reading tonight, we will ask legal counsel to incorporate all the new changes. And we will look at those, and that'll come up with third reading next time. And that those changes should be available to us. If they're not, then we'll have to postpone. But tonight, we can go ahead and move forward.
Is there anybody from the audience that would like to speak on behalf of this? Okay. If not, then Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Did y'all say no dogs in the cemetery?
No, they're going to allow it.
Going to allow them vote?
Right now, dogs in the
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and 1 nay, Councilmember Durst.
We'll move on to the approval of the payroll. Councilwoman Wells.
I move to approve the payroll register for the pay period of August 4th, 2019 through August 17th, 2019 in the amount of $225,751.31.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have a first and a second. Any questions or comments in regards to that? If not, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Okay. We'll move on down to the approval of accounts payable. Councilwoman Smith.
I move to approve the accounts payable register for the period of August 16, 2019 to August 29, 2019 in the amount of $1,113,300.27.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Durst. Is there any questions or comments in regards to that? If not, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Okay. The next is a request for a landfill fee waiver for the property located at 1217 West Spruce Street. I believe that's the wrong address. I think it should be like 2117 or something like that.
I'm going to wing this one. Danielle. So, within that, you have the letter that does state that as the accurate address.
1217?
By F&S Trucking.
That's not the right address. My address is 2106, and he sits right next door to me. Anyway.
According to his letter.
I think you're right, it is 221 something.
Yeah. As I say, I'm 2106, and he's right next door to me to the west, so
I'm trying to look it up, but
that doesn't matter, but just to clarify, I have to fix the address.
Yeah,
I just-
his request does say 1217.
I just learned about this one a couple minutes ago.
So, this individual purchased the property, and they did an asbestos abatement, and as you all know, that's very expensive. And he is requesting council to assist him with some of the fees, do a waiver of fees. Municipal Code 8.18.030, reduction in landfill fees and the abatement of dangerous conditions. City council may provide assistance in any landfill fee reduction granted, shall not be in excess of $5,000, and is conditioned upon dangerous conditions being abated to the satisfaction of city personnel and upon final passing inspection. So you do have the authority to do this. He has put this request before the city to have a reduction in his fees.
Okay. And a motion?
For the purpose of discussion, I would move to approve per Rawlins Municipal Code 8.18.030, a landfill fee waiver request. That's it. Rest.
Okay. Second. Okay, we have a first and a second. Okay, conversation?
Yeah, my question, I guess, is what is the amount that we're talking about?
Do you have the full amount, Danielle?
I don't have the full amount. It's a very large building. It's that old, I think it was called the Purple Stage Motel, and then there's that house up front. So I know that Mr. Fritz has done the asbestos removal abatement with asbestos technical services. That did not come to our landfill, but I know that alone was well over $5,000. And then he'll tear all of that down, and it will come to our construction and demolition pit now that all of that asbestos has been removed. But I don't know the amount. I can tell you it's going to be well over $5,000.
You know, I mean, what do you think, like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40?
I don't even want to tell you a number. I just don't want to tell you something to be so far off, but I would say easily more than 10,000. So,
So I
in
guess,
addition to the
is he tearing it
building-
all down then, the
Yes.
whole
He
building?
is,
and
yeah. And in
completely
addition
rebuilding?
to the building, he also has a large amount of tires on that property that have been stored over the years. And we do charge a rate of $100 per ton for tires now, so, I mean, it's more than just the buildings. There's a lot of stuff there, so.
That's my other question is the amount, and then the room, do we have enough room in our landfill for all this material? We're fine with that?
We do. So we did receive our extension for 2 years in our current construction and demolition pit. In addition to that, we do have our rough draft. It's not been submitted to DEQ, but our rough draft of our going vertical, which would extend the life of the construction and demolition pit as of right now by 26 years. And that does, DEQ has been really supportive of that. We've done some sampling, so I think that we'll continue moving forward in
So
that.
handling the
yes.
asbestos is not a problem then?
They've already abated the asbestos, and that's been held elsewhere. So this will be all clean construction
Wood
and
and
demolition.
concrete.
Yeah, it's a lot of brick, a lot of wood. I'm not entirely sure if there's stuff in those rooms still. I
There
would
is.
imagine there is. Because was a dangerous building with the city of Rawlins back in, if I recall right, like 2010. And then we actually cleared it because they did some things, but it's a mess. It's a lot.
Councilwoman Smith?
I guess I just want to point out, he purchased that property knowing those hazards existed. And
Correct.
so I have a little bit of heartburn trying to help him do that. Just saying.
I mean, true, but he's also gonna tear down an old
Yeah.
crappy building and put up a brand new one.
I have an idea what the asbestos was, and it's probably more than 10 to 12 times
So
more
I
than.
know he saved $30,000 on the asbestos with David helping him. So I don't know what he spent, but if he saved $30,000, I'm gonna guess he spent a pretty good amount of money. So, and it is, it's a decent size.
It's going to clean up that area.
And I think that's our goal as a council. We've been talking for a long, long time about getting those old buildings down there and making some changes, and I don't have a problem with that, I just wanted to basically know the amount, so if it's $5,000 and we're gonna give five, well, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Say split it in half, so
Yeah, I think
I
you're
understand.
well over. I would imagine if you did decide to give him the full 5,000, that's not gonna be half. So,
Go ahead.
This might be a legal question. Is it reasonable, so let's say we do agree some amount of money, is it reasonable to say that it would not be applicable until after it was already all cleaned up? You see what I'm saying? In other words, if he can't just take $5,000, let's just say it was $5,000 worth of, he can't just take that and then quit and say, oh, well, this is where I quit. He's got to clean the whole property up, and once it's all cleaned up, then we would credit back
So much.
so much.
That is how the code is written. So
Oh,
if you read-
that's already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you read that section of the code, it says that they have to have a final passing inspection.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm
so
sorry.
they would be.
I've read a lot of your code lately.
No, yeah. No.
And Aaron, in the recommendation portion of it, it does actually state the code, and the very last line of it is,
Satisfaction
quote
of city
unquote,
personnel.
abated to the
Yeah,
satisfaction of
yeah,
city
right.
personnel
So
and
we
the final
would-
passing
yeah,
inspection.
They would
So
get
that
billed
covers
for
us.
that, and then after the passing inspection, we would notify finance and they'd apply that credit that you guys give them at that time, so. And that's how we've done it in the past. We even have, on our process in the past, we've done just a little letter so the landfill employees know what's going on, finance knows what's going on, and we all communicate. And that's-
My recommendation, Debari, would be, if you're in agreement to change your motion to put a dollar amount in there.
Can't, I'm sure. It's just
Oh,
say,
you still have a question, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna see, what do we have in that fund for, what's the amount?
Dangerous
do we
building
have?
fund?
400 and some thousand.
Yeah, kind of a rough idea,
It's well over
I
400,000.
believe so, yeah.
is it?
500
Okay.
and some thousand.
But this wouldn't touch that.
It wouldn't touch
No,
that?
because this is a privately owned piece of property
Mhm.
that he is doing the work on and paying for the landfill. He is asked,
No,
Actually-
that's incorrect. The Dangerous Building Fund would provide the $5,000 credit to that enterprise fund account.
that's right.
That's what we've
We're
done.
just gonna
Okay.
transfer from one.
Yeah,
to the
because
other.
we'd still have to pay the landfill for the tipping fees
gotcha,
out of
yeah,
that fund.
that is right, because we did that on a different one.
Under Barry's motion, can we add, to put the correct address to this?
Well,
2120.
2120?
Yes, I pulled it up.
It's like not even close.
Well, did you just switch them?
No, he put 1217.
1217, yeah.
Maybe
That
that's
would be
his old
2117.
address and he
That's
just.
the First American title place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
He probably was able to thrill the freaking-
Boy, I've been blown away confused with that.
Go ahead, Councilman Debari.
Point of order.
Yeah,
I-
not First American title.
Point of order, I would go ahead and change my motion to waiver the full $5,000 to clean up the property at 2120 West Bruce Street.
Okay. Who seconded that?
Yes.
I had a second, I don't know if they want to second the addition to the amount.
I'll second
Clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
So not to exceed 5,000 or more than 5,000?
Not to exceed the 5,000.
Well, I think that's specifically written in the ordinance, isn't it? I think the ordinance specifically says
Yeah.
up to.
But I heard him say something
Okay.
Yeah.
was clarifying.
What we mean.
Any questions in regards to that?
No, I think that's a great idea.
Marla, would you open online voting, please?
See something big like that get taken care of, that's wonderful.
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Smith, nay.
We'll move on to D, ordinance, first reading, amending Rawlins Municipal Code Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic.
You and your code.
I know, but it's going to be worth it, so. Honorable Mayor and City Council, so this is first reading. We did have a work session on this. After that work session, it's page 6 of the, it's the one titled, trying to remember here, sorry. just Title 10 ordinance. It's the one with the highlighted changes. It says no vehicle, whether attended or unattended. That's the only change I had from the work session that we held. If you guys have any other questions or changes, let me know. It is first reading, so we'll have 2 more opportunities. Otherwise, for the most part, the changes are a lot of capitalization. And then the big thing is referring to the actual state statute that instead of citing it, so as state statute changes, we at least match them. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know.
I guess my first thing is, for the second reading, could we have the state statutes for each one of those changes?
Yes.
Because as it reads now, we see that it's being changed to a state statute, but we have no idea what that state statute is. We may not agree with what the state statute is, so we may be putting into effect something that's we really don't want, worse off than what we have.
I can email that to you as well, so you
Okay.
have it ahead of time to review if that works.
Okay.
And then I wonder, the police chief, if he has some of those extra little, there's like these code cheat books, and that thing's amazing. 'Cause if you try to read the state book,
Right.
it's,
When I read that, and I knew you struck out all of the English, and we put the following provisions, and then there's nothing there, you're just referring it to a state statute, so we need to clean that up a little bit. But I think if I were out there and I'm not dealing with this every day, and I pull this ordinance up, and the way I read it, and if I have to go search through all the state statutes, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed having to do that. I think we should pass ordinances that are very plain, and so people can understand them. That's my only objection, I guess.
Anyone else?
How often does the state statutes change, though? They change quite a bit, and so.
Well, they could change annually.
Yeah, so we'd be
Yeah.
having a change.
and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, chapter 31 and like the traffic stuff, that's really more of the police side. I don't really track a lot of that, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That would be a better question for Troy, who's out right now, so.
So, Mayor,
Yes, ma'am?
so I guess was the intent of this to just make it more simplified? And then as they change these statutes, we'd still be in compliance?
Correct. So the whole point of just reflecting state statute is we have to be either, we can be the same or more restrictive. So if state statute changed and we have it as we do now, and a lot of it is exactly word for word, which you'll see when I provide that information to you, but what I have stricken through, for the most part, all of that was exactly the same, because before I went through that, I specifically read each part of state statute. So there's not really too many changes, but yes, it was so that then we wouldn't have to come before you to make that change to reflect whatever the state did. It would just, because we reflect that specific provision within state statute, it would change automatically. Now, we would still, staff would have to still review that, because again, if state statute puts something in there that we don't like and we want to be more restrictive, we have that ability. So we would still have to review it, but not necessarily bring it before the council every time.
Get a motion? Councilwoman Wells?
I move to approve on first reading and waive the reading of the ordinance amending Rawlins Municipal Code, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic.
We have a first and a second. Any more discussion in regards to Title 10?
And Linda, too, we did actually mimic Rock Springs, did the same thing several years back, and that's actually where our chief of police found a lot of that, and he really liked how that looked. So they did a really similar thing to this. That's actually where we got the idea.
Well, if you can take out a couple of words so they're not expecting it to all be right under that statute, that would help a lot. I just,
Yeah.
just want it to be simple so the audiences, our citizens know what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just my opinion.
I would have to agree. Okay. If there's no more questions, we'll open up online voting.
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Member Smith nay.
And we'll move on down to item E, bid award, Public Works backhoe, and I guess that's Danielle again.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, we worked with legal to put out a bid for a backhoe for our utilities division. We do currently have one that we'll be trading in. It's getting older, it's in really poor shape. So this was one of the items we budgeted in our capital during the budget process. And we did receive 3 bids. The lowest responsive bidder was to Wyoming Machinery in the amount after trade-in of $80,480.46. This is well under budget by just over $49,000. So we are good there. It does come with a warranty, and if you have questions, I will do my best to answer them.
You get a motion? Councilman Martinez?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the, award the Public Works Utilities backhoe bid to the Wyoming Machinery in the amount of $4,580.46 to Wyoming Machinery.
Get a second?
We need to less the trade.
Maybe I better add that less a trade-in of $24,000 for a total of $80,580.46.
For clarification, $80,480 and 46 cents.
$80,480.46.
All right.
I thought I said that, didn't I?
He said 580,000.
It does say that.
I did?
No, it does say that.
Mine says 480.
Oh,
In the printed
Oh,
one, but in the
it's-
written one, it says 500.
Oh, wow,
Oh.
you're right.
Just
Yeah,
keeping you all on your toes.
so it is 580.
Is it 500 or 400?
It's 400.
Okay.
Yeah, I was double checking. It's 400. I apologize.
That's what he read.
Yeah, okay. All right, do we have a second? Okay, we have a first and a second. Any questions in regards to this? Councilman Durst?
I just, quick question, is this, like you said you were $50,000 under budget, is this like a slightly used one that?
No,
Or is it just a
is
lucky
new.
find?
We got a way better trade-in than we thought we would. And then we actually had put that in last year and removed it, so we added 10% for inflation as well. So we just really over budgeted is kind of what it came down to.
We found a really good deal is the answer.
But, yes, but Dustin's super happy, so I gotta keep him happy because he's the one that gives us money.
There you go. Any other comments or questions? Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 6 yeas and Councilmember Wells abstaining.
Family conflict.
Huh?
Family conflict.
Okay. We will move on down to item F, the bid award of Public Works pickup truck.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, we worked with legal again to put out a bid for a truck at our landfill. Again, with the trade-in, we have a truck out there that's really old. It actually used to be the streets department when Moses worked for us. So it's been some time. It's just in really poor shape. So we did put this bid out. After the trade-in of the old truck, it did come in to Griner Ford $30,345.75. This too came well under budget by $19,000. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Can we get a motion? Councilman Sanger?
I move to award the Public Works pickup truck bid to Griner Ford of Casper in the amount of $32,120.75, less trade-in of $1,775 for a total of $30,345.75.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions or comments? Councilman Espinoza?
Daniela, which Moses were you talking about?
I don't know how you say it.
Moise Avila.
Oh, I even said his first name wrong, so.
I'm with you on that.
My bad.
I was there the whole way.
All right, if there's no questions or comments, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Okay, we'll move on down to item G, bid award Public Works sign flatbed pickup truck. And I guess that would be Mike Paserno.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, senior staff, this year during budget, we asked in the budget for a new sign truck. It's pretty wore out and has some issues. We worked with legal on the matter when we went to budget, and we were able to get 4 bids that ranged from $57,600 to $46,522, which Fremont Motors out of Casper was the lowest. Everything on that bid came in at spec or better than spec, so we were pretty happy to see that. During that process, we had budgeted $52,000, so we came in $5,478 under, and that's with the trade-in of the old truck, which we will scavenge all the parts off of that we can possibly need, and then we'll send it on its merry little way. So, yeah, all that good stuff. So, if you have any questions, I can hopefully answer them.
Get a motion? Councilman Durst?
I move to award the Public Works street sign flatbed pickup truck bid to Fremont Motors, Casper, in the amount of $48,522, less a trade-in of $2,000, totaling $46,522.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions or comments? If there's no questions, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll move into executive session. Can I get a motion? Councilwoman Smith?
I move that we go into executive session at 8:19 p.m. per Wyoming Statute 16-4-4052 to consider appointment, employment, right to practice, or dismissal of a public officer, professional person or employee, or to hear complaints or charges brought against an employee, professional person or officer, unless the employee, professional person or officer requests a public hearing. The governing body may exclude from any public or private hearing during the examination of a witness any or all other witnesses in the matter being investigated. Following the hearing or executive session, the governing body may deliberate on its decision in executive session. And 9, to consider or receive any information classified as confidential by law.
Do you have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions in regards to everything that Linda just read? If not, Marla, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Okay. We were in executive session.